This podcast is brought to you by your Anime Addicts community. So if you want to help out the podcast and get all of our extra content, the most popular place right now is patreon.com. You can search for us on patreon.com. When you do, you'll get all of our exclusive content. We have thousands of literal episodes for you to choose from our backlog, all for just a small amount of money that will help you pay for, well, largely IT expenses, but also we'll be feeling the love. So again, head over to patreon.com if you want to support the podcast. And now it's time to start the show.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAAPodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Welcome back to the podcast, episode 841 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. And I am your host, Mitsugi. And since I am Mitsugi, it is true, today I am wearing no pants. That's right. And I can show you. Maybe I can't. The camera does not quite pan down that far. But I am not alone on the show today. We also have Raggedy Doctor. How are you?
I am super.
You're on overdrive this week. I looked at the outline and I was like, holy shit, Raggedy Doctor just went like balls out on this outline. How many words of notes did you put on the document?
I've not counted words. I think it's at least 4 or 5 of the 10 pages that we normally have.
Yeah, I was like, well, I can't possibly match the energy that you're putting up here, but I do appreciate it, and we're going to get into it. It's definitely a Raggedy Doctor episode, so looking forward to all that. And I'm also going to crack open this, I don't know how to describe it other than to say it's American-flavored monster. Yeah, It's so good. It's so good. So if you guys want to follow us, you can do it on. We're live on YouTube Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern. So check us out on there. We're also on Twitter. We're on TikTok. We're on Discord, of course. So head over to the Discord, AAADiscord.com, where they are watching not anime for the Anime Club. They are going to be watching the, I guess it's Avatar: The Last Airbender. So that's going to be on Wednesday. Well, they haven't updated this. Carolyn didn't update this. So it says August 19th. So that was obviously from the last Anime Club, but I guess it's every other week. So, geez, I got to get my calendar out now. If they did it on the 19th.
Avatar: The Last Anime Club.
That's right. So, yeah. So the next Anime Club will happen on September 2nd, I guess. And they haven't announced what they're going to be watching yet. But I'm sure it'll be announced soon. So, on the podcast today, well, I found an article a couple weeks ago on the internet that was talking about how anime studios, even some of the big ones that you know, aren't really making any money. I was like, wow, that's pretty shocking. Like, these studios are just broke as fuck. And then Raggedy Doctor came over the top and he was like, production committees are the devil! Basically. Is that how it went down?
Pretty much. And it was like, I always had a sneaking suspicion this was the problem, but then I was like, no, it's time for research. Gotta back it up with facts and logic.
Our cameras have died on stream, and I'm trying to figure out how to get them back. So
that's devastating.
That's what I'm doing.
It's probably better for everyone else to not stare at my ugly face. So maybe we should leave it off. Instead, hear my horrible voice.
Yeah. What the fuck is going on with this? So I have, here we go. There's my camera. I got my camera's back. And now we're going to get Raggedy's camera back. So, because we're obviously, I don't know. There we go. We're back. So, yeah. So we're going to be talking about anime studios not making any money and production committees. And Jesus, this literal thesis that Raggedy Doctor is going to have to lead this topic because there is just so much. Man, you're ready to write like you're going to need like a.
You're going to need a PhD to my MD. You're going to dissertation.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to need to like get the MLS out so you can like properly cite all your sources at the end of your paper. Don't fuck up your commas.
I was tempted, but I got lazy and just put the links in the show notes. So if anyone has that for Patreon, they can see all the articles themselves.
We're also going to be talking about Witch Hat Atelier. I even had to look up Atelier. I even had to look up what the hell an atelier was last night. I was like, this is either like a room in your house or you know how like rooms have funny names like sexy bedroom is like a bordello, and then they have like bathrooms, the water powder rooms, all these weird rooms words that no one uses anymore. I was like, is an atelier just like a fancy like library or something, or maybe it's a whole like village? Like I had no fucking clue, so I'd look it up. So we'll get into that later. So the very highly regarded Witch Hat Atelier. And of course, if you go to our website or the Discord, you will find links in the anime discussion channel, the AAA discussion, for the listener choice for summer 2026. So a lot of you have already voted, and one anime is already fully locked. I'll give Raggedy Doctor one guess if he wishes, but I will not confirm.
I forgot what we impressed on. I'm gonna say. You and I are polar opposites season 2.
Okay, well, that would be incorrect.
I thought you weren't going to confirm.
Yeah, I would only tell you if you... Look, I fucking lied, okay? So, I would only tell you if you got it right, so... but we'll say that one's in the running. So, yeah, if you head over to our Discord, AAADiscord.com, or our website, AAAPodcast.com, you can vote for the listener's choice for summer 2026. So, that'll probably be up for at least another week, so we'll see what happens there. Wow, I haven't seen you in a while, Raggedy. How you doing? Things good on your end?
It's been a hot minute. It is rainy and stormy in New York, or at least it was for an hour, and now it's nice and sunny.
I'm living in the armpit of hell down here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's like 1,000 degrees outside, and I'm tired as fuck, bro. Like, all this traveling, and then having a little kid that just like, little kids are so weird. Like, sometimes they sleep through the night, and then sometimes they just wake up and just lose their shit for like 3 hours in the middle of the night. And I'm like, it's just a crapshoot, really. So,
I have no idea what that's about.
Yeah, you have no idea. So, yeah, very tired. Yeah, also, I'm trying to pass this certification exam for work, which is like way more than I wanted to get involved in when I signed up for it. It's like literally 1,200 pages of reading. And I was like...
yeah.
I was like... I didn't really...
I have a saying at work is just try your best not to become important at your job because it will ruin your life.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. And I was like, Jesus, I didn't realize I was like taking OrgoChem all over again when I fucking signed up. I never took OrgoChem, but that's the class everybody failed in college. And I was like, this textbook, I could murder a human with it. That's how big this fucking textbook is. Anyway, we're glad to be here. We got a good show for you guys, so why don't we get started?
It's time for big news of the week.
Look, I foraged, I fought, I scraped, and I battled, but there's no news this week worth talking about, except Raggedy had some news, and then I had a piggyback, so why don't you go first?
Yeah, I mean, my news is more of like an update on a previous topic that Mason and Friggy did, I want to say like 2-3 weeks ago, about the Crunchyroll store and changing their tiers, right? Where now they're paywalling the store, so only Mega and Ultimate fans can even have access to the Crunchyroll store. So when this update happened, which was this past week, well, the storefront also went to complete shit, and they removed a shit ton of physical media. So they removed manga, light novels, manhwa, danmai, gone. Tons of them.
What the fuck is a danmai?
I think it is Korean, like how it's like manga and or maybe Chinese, because it's like manga and manhwa are basically the same thing. So I'm guessing danmai is the Chinese version. But just tons of physical media gone. They also dramatically reduced their Blu-ray and DVD catalog. The only Blu-rays for sale at all are those that are owned by Crunchyroll, Funimation, and Aniplex, which makes some sense. But again, they were selling other stuff before, and they had the merger with Right Stuff, so you'd figure they would have more stuff to sell. The one weird one is that for some reason they have a Macross Plus box set, which is not.
Hell yeah, they do.
It's the one weird one that's like it doesn't make sense that they still have it up for sale compared to everything else they've removed.
It does make sense. Macross Plus is fucking based.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, why is that like the one random one that they kept when everything else?
I'm just talking shit anyway. I don't fucking know. I have absolutely no idea.
But yeah, so tons of physical media just gone into the ether.
Well, doesn't Sony? So correct me if I'm wrong, but Sony owns Crunchyroll.
They do.
And Sony had already pissed off the whole of the internet recently by talking about how they were going to eliminate physical media for PlayStation starting in January 2028. So I can't help but think there's a connection between Sony removing the anime off the DVDs and shit off their store and Sony removing physical media for the PlayStation. So I don't know if you think there's a connection there, but I sure think there is.
I don't know if there's a direct complete connection, but that's what all of these companies are moving. They're moving towards, right? It's something we're going to talk about in a little bit about how to drive down sort of production costs, so to speak, and as a way to generate extra profits. So it's not surprising; it's just disappointing.
So people are so pissed about the physical media thing, and they're pissed because they think that like this is the digital future, and you're not gonna. What is the saying? You'll own nothing and you'll like it. Like if people always say that you own nothing and you'll like it, and I'm just not sure I give a fuck, to be honest. So I want your take, but like from my perspective, I pretty much platinum every game I play. Pretty much. And so, like, unless the game's just not good. And so, I'm playing the game to the extent that I will never play it again when I'm done with it. I mean, there's nothing left to do. And so, like, how many of us are really picking up anime DVD? Like, I have an anime DVD book in my closet that's fucking huge. I mean, I could get it out, but there's like 700 DVDs in it in those two books. It's enough weight. It's enough that it's heavy to carry the two of them together. I literally I've been lugging this fucking thing around with me for 10, 15 years as I travel, live from place to place, and I think I've literally utilized it like 3 times. I never watch them, so I just don't see the point. I don't know about you.
My thought is you would become too reliant on these companies to maintain the digital properties. Then the issue becomes like there's tons of series that you cannot watch at all currently. Legally, illegally you can, but legally there's no way to watch the original Fullmetal Alchemist. There's no way to watch Baccano. There's no way to watch a lot of very famous and popular series because the companies just decided, fuck it, we're not going to be airing them anymore. Just you can't do it. Sucks to suck. So unless you have that physical copy, it's gone. It's just this endless sort of enshittification. And the thing that I particularly dislike about it is that there's no decrease in price. It's, we're actually going to charge you more money and give you less things.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know. So there's an article I pulled up here that said that Sony's plan to kill PlayStation discs looks smarter after U.S. physical sales of video games cratered to only $85 million of revenue in July, which is not a lot. And I mean, they're basically talking about how and this has been the case for a long time, that virtually nobody is buying physical discs anyway. They're down to the point where they're basically collector's items, and that's it. And so there's really... My baby has awoken in the next room, and my wife is going to come in here and kill me with an axe. So literally, we will be podcasting for about 3 more minutes, just so you guys know. And I don't even think I've been that loud, but maybe I have. So no one's buying physical discs anyway, and they're not watching anime on physical discs. So I think Sony's take is, why especially do we care about like the removal of the discs? Because no one's utilizing them anyway. And I think the discs are a lot more expensive to produce. It's a lower profit margin item. They have to ship them, they have to package them, they have to, run them through a factory. There's like several production steps that occur, and then by the time you get to the end of that, there's like the total cost of production would push down the profitability. So in the end, I think it's all a profit game. And I think that
of course,
people are just mad about it, and I get that, but I don't know. I think that the drive to eliminate physical media is definitely a problem for some people. So,
well, I guess Ippo is currently on Crunchyroll, one of your favorite animes of all time, right? What happens when Crunchyroll, decides in the next 5 or 10 years, or even sooner, then not enough people are watching this. Why the fuck are we paying for this? Yeeted, gone into the ether. And then when your son is older, you're like, oh, I'm going to show him my favorite show. Fuck, where is it? It's gone, right? Like that's the problem is like in the here and now, yeah, it makes sense. But then when there are going to be times when people want to revisit that physical media and have it and have ownership of it. I think there's a way to do both where you say, okay, these are collector's items. We're going to make them on a, smaller scale and make them more expensive. So that way the option still exists, but just completely disappearing it, people are going to be upset. And I think they have a very good reason to be upset.
I wonder if people even would buy the discs. Like, and I get that it's like, oh, where are you going to find anime when they take it off of this, when they don't have the discs, and then if you don't have the streaming anymore or whatever. But I mean, how much are they charging for even back in the day, they would still charge $20 for a DVD that had 3 episodes on it.
Yeah.
So I mean, if it's got to be even worse today. So I mean, who is really buying that shit? Like, it just seems like, I guess video games are one thing. You buy a video game, it's $70. You play it for 50 hours, and that's it, right? So you're paying like $1.40 an hour for your video games, which is really not that bad. And then, for anime, you get 3 episodes in a DVD for $25. You're literally paying $25 an hour for that, and it just is nowhere near worthwhile, in my opinion, to even do that. Like, who the fuck is gonna spend? We used to buy like, God, what was it? Let me give a good example here. Like, I don't know, something like Noir would come out, or Chobits would have like an 8-volume DVD set for the whole 26-episode show. And I'm like, nowadays, even back then, the 8 discs would cost you $200. Is anybody really going to spend? People are putting like burritos on Klarna. Are they really going to be like spending $200 for the DVD set of like Noir? I just don't know. Are you going to do that shit? Because I'm fucking not.
I used to own the entirety of Dragon Ball Z on DVD with where like the spines of like the different volumes would like add up to a picture.
Was it VHS tapes?
No, it's been so long. I think I had VHS, and then eventually when they switched to DVD, I started getting the DVDs.
I think I'm just a little older than you. I don't know how old you are. I imagine you're like 32. I don't know, but
I'm 35.
35. Okay, so I'm a little older, but yeah, I had like a whole wall of my bedroom full of like Dragon Ball Z VHS tapes that my very permissive parents would allow me to just buy, and they would buy them, and for the most part, and Jesus, like, I don't know where those are anymore, but I know they're worth a fortune. And I'm really pissed off I can't find them. I think someone probably stole them. But yeah, I mean, like, I had a ton of that shit. But like, that's my point. It's like, people don't. I don't know, man. Maybe we're talking in circles, but I think people just. I'm gonna play devil's advocate for most of this episode, I think. But like, people just don't have the money to buy that anyway nowadays. So I feel like the market, it's literally a market that's meant for only people with like extreme levels of disposable income, and I just don't know that there's that many people to support the market anyway. But I do agree that we should have multiple options to watch anime if you want to.
Yeah, that's more my point, is that it shouldn't just all disappear.
For my part, so that people know where I am with like the games. So I didn't buy my games for like 5-6 years, and I have like hundreds of games digitally on PlayStation, and PlayStation Network had like a 2-day outage about a year ago, and it freaked me the fuck out. And I was like, holy shit, like this could really just be a thing that just poofs one day. And so I've been buying my games physically again since then. I just pre-ordered the Onimusha game, which comes out in September on Amazon. It'll be here September 4th. And I think September 4th. Man, I gotta hurry up and get these other games done. But I'm back to the physical games at least. But I don't think I'll ever buy anime DVDs again. I just don't think it's not worth it. So unless they're gonna start selling the whole box set of like 50 episodes of like Fullmetal Alchemist for $40, I might buy that, but I'm not gonna buy individual like 3-episode packs.
No, like if there's like a single like true like dear to your heart series that they sell on like 1 or 2 discs, then yeah, like if they had all of the original EPO on 2 discs, or if they had all of FMAB, like that kind of thing, I think would make sense.
The chat's talking about the Aniplex Blu-rays that were like $80 each for the 4 episodes. Like, I think I have Sailor and the Seven Balls in this DVD book. I could probably find it. It's definitely.
If you didn't have the physical media, you wouldn't have Sailor and the Seven Balls.
That's probably one of the and out of the 4 times I've used this DVD book, that's probably been 2 of them. I don't know if you've seen that, but it is ridiculous. It's more of a comedy than anything else. It's definitely not sexy. So, if you ever want to watch Goku go Super Saiyan while he's railing Sailor Moon in an elevator. So, anyway, I think it sucks. I definitely think consumers should have multiple ways to access content if they want to buy the DVDs and watch them in their basement because they think that, for whatever reason, that they should be able to. And if they want to watch streaming, they should be able to. My concern is Sony will purge their DVD offerings, and then other companies will follow suit, and then they'll jack the rates up of Crunchyroll, which by the way is already expensive. Crunchyroll's already happening. Crunchyroll may be like one of the most expensive streaming services right now. I mean, I think I'm paying $15 a month for it.
It's the most expensive per like content available. Like Netflix costs more, but there's like a huger. There's a way larger.
Come on, man.
That my English.
Come on, we both have degrees.
I'm ESL. English is a second language. My first language is shonen brain rot.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, yeah, right. Okay. Well, anyway, do you have anything else you want to say about this?
Nah, that covers it.
All right. So I pulled up so for the main topic, this is kind of a long time coming in. I don't know if it'll be a debate or not. I think it might be. We'll see. I'm gonna play devil's advocate to make it interesting, but I pulled up this article. Oh, it's not loading. Well, that fucking figures.
That's weird.
No, not really. Let's see. Here we go. So Kadokawa reported significant losses in its anime business in the past quarter. This was really recent, like a week ago, despite rising revenue from hits like ReZero, which I don't know. I guess I have to watch ReZero now because
It's pretty good.
I stopped after the season where he was eaten by anime segment actually grew by 27% year over year, which is everything we knew already. Like anime is fucking exploding. It's fucking crushing it. Everyone's watching anime. Literally, I could talk to like a grandma that's like vacuuming the floor in my office, and she'd be like, "Oh yeah, like I watched Chainsmoker Cat, and like, ooh, and it made me want to do heroin. Like everybody's watching anime now, but like even though the revenue increased by 27%, they still took a loss, which is wild. And they said that it's due to significantly increased on the rise of production costs are so dramatic that they're creating a quote profitless boom, which Teikoku Databank, which I guess is like an analyst firm, said that this is something that Japan's industry has been seeing for several years now. They're just like the revenue keeps rising and rising, but the costs are rising faster than the revenue, and they're just totally upside down. So I posted it in our little like war room on the Discord, and all these studios that people know that are real popular are just doing very badly. And it was a surprise to me. So Production IG and Wit Studio, which I guess they own, IG Port owns both of those, had an $8 million loss during the year that ended May 2026. So literally Wit Studio, not making any money. Nope. JoJo, Cells at Work, Attack on Titan, all this shit. Doesn't fucking matter. No, they're not making any money. Production IG, no money. And then it continues. The Spy X Family Studio, Cloverworks, nope, no money. Hasn't made any money for 2 years, actually. And their losses are getting worse. I could click on this link and get the figures, but I'm not going to. And Silverlink, another big studio, 3 years straight, no profit. And I'm just like, if these studios aren't making any money, who the fuck's making money? No one.
I mean, I would
apparently.
argue Silverlink doesn't deserve to make money anyway because they suck. But that's besides the point.
I wonder how much money. I mean, this is small pennies like compared to like big companies, but Cloverworks reported a loss of $235,000 during 2026, and then they had 140. Yeah, so we're talking like less than $1 million of losses, but these are tiny. People don't realize how fucking small these companies are. I mean, so
well, it's also loss, right? So even though it's a small amount, it means they made no money. It doesn't matter almost how big the loss is; they lost.
Yeah, exactly. And like most companies would say that like if you can make a product that can add incrementally to your profit, you should make the product. And if it's not going to be incrementally profitable, you should not. So under like a lot of like business rationale, a company like Cloverworks would just shut down. Because they're like, well, why am I going to invest all this? There's opportunity cost too. Like all the money that goes into the investments and all the people's time could be spent making money actually on something else. Like even driving Uber would be like more profitable at that point. But it's kind of besides the point. But like it's just like most companies aren't just going to keep making something for 3, 4, or 5 years in a row knowing that they're going to lose money. So that's not real good. But I just wanted to call that out so people were aware that like these big studios, not only are they fucking tiny. Like I wouldn't be shocked if even like KyoAni only had like 25 employees or 30 employees, and I think that's on the bigger side. I wouldn't be surprised if Cloverworks has like 15 people working for it, but they're not making any money. So, and then you jumped in and you were like, "Oh, the production committees."
Yeah. So, I mean, which is interesting because Kadokawa is not a studio, right? They are a larger, production company. So some interesting things from that article you posted that we haven't gotten to yet is that they are going to actually increase the number of anime titles that they are
Oh my god.
funding because that they want to use that to drive revenue, which will come from the further discussion, explain why they're doing that. And then something else to note is the company is expecting a 200 million yen reduction in expenses coming up from June. 154 employees were essentially let go early. It was like a voluntary like early retirement system, so they've kind of cut back on some of their workforce. So like Kadokawa is going to be fine. You don't have to worry about them going belly up.
Is that like old men that are like near retirement age getting forced out?
Yeah,
like you guys are done. Like goodbye.
Pretty much, yeah. They were like people. I think their range was like late 40s through 60s. So there were a few people who were like on the younger side, but more of them were like close to actual retirement age. But what I wanted to do.
You know what's funny that I just realized? I literally did all these notes. I did these notes from that article above, and you had the exact same notes just below.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm just not realizing that. So anyway, so continuing on.
That's why I was surprised when you said the link didn't work, and then I realized you were reading from yours.
Listen, it's been a long week, bro. It's been a long week.
So anyway, the first thing I wanted to look at with this is, we talk about like anime is this huge booming industry that's quote unquote profitless. So I wanted to know, well, where does money come from when you're talking to anime? Where is the profit? Like what generates revenue? And I went to the Association of Japanese Animators, which publishes like that data, and 58% of all revenue for anime comes from overseas sales. Meaning streaming, DVD sales while they still exist, licensing rights to Cartoon Network and Toonami, that makes up the majority of all revenue for anime, which surprised me because I thought it was going to be merchandising, which is 20%. It's the second most, but I thought merchandising was going to be higher. But
I'm sure that like you're probably going to talk about this, but the studios themselves don't actually own the rights to the anime most of the time. So correct. I can't imagine they're getting any money at all from the overseas sales.
They are not. They're not getting money from any of this.
And yeah, they're not getting money from the merchandising either. Or gambling? God, fucking A, so degenerate. Like, It's not even
gambling's
real.
number 3.
It's not even real. Pachinko is the lamest shit on earth. Like, wow. Oh my god. It's people who play pachinko are the saddest humans.
They love it. So yeah, I have it on the notes like for the full breakdown. But yeah, the bigger 2 chunks are overseas sales and merchandising, and like you said, the studios don't really make any of that money. So while anime globally was worth 20 billion in USD in 2024, and then is estimated to basically surpass 40 billion this year. The thing is that money doesn't go to the studios. Production companies are what actually funds and owns the licenses for these. So what production committees are, for anyone who does not know, it's large corporations such as broadcasters, advertisers, people like Kadokawa and Toei and Bandai Namco come together and fund anime. Why do they do this? Well, increases investor safety, right? Increases likelihood of getting projects funded. But the thing to remember again is that these are not, studios. They are the ones that control the intellectual property rights, and then kind of all the downstream profits, the merchandising, the streaming, the licensing deals, all get paid to the production committees. The studios themselves work on a fixed, kind of like a fixed profit basis. They get paid $100, for argument's sake, $100, and they get told, okay, make this anime, go. And that's kind of where that is. I mean, I looked a little bit into it too. I don't know how much you know about the history of production companies.
Well, I was kind of hoping you would teach me, but I have a question.
Yeah.
I would argue that the studios don't really deserve any of the money. To me,
Okay.
this. Well, I mean, and I'm gonna make my case. It's like it's just like with anything. I mean, think about it. Like, Universal Studios owns, I don't know what the fuck do they own. I actually don't know. Jurassic Park or something like that. Yeah, Harry Potter. I don't know. We'll just say Jurassic Park. Pretty sure they own that. Well, so they hire a bunch of like film crews to make the movie, right? They pay the film crew. Everyone gets a salary. They're paying the people, whatever. And then, but like the film crew doesn't get the money from the movie. Universal gets the money from the movie, right? So, I mean, the studio is little more than just a contractor that's like painting the outside of your house. Like they're just paid labor basically that's being paid to like make something. They agree. The thing is that the real issue here, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate this whole time, and you should argue with me if you don't agree.
That's
but
fair.
like, let's say I'm a production committee and you're a studio. I'm coming to you and I say, oh, like Wit Studio, we really want to make this new JoJo anime. And you say, oh, okay, cool, yeah, this new JoJo anime, great. How much are you going to pay us? And I say, well, let's talk about it. And then you and I come up with a contract, and then you sign the contract, and I sign the contract, and then I pay you exactly what you're supposed to be paid, and that's it. Like, you agreed to it, you're doing it. If you're not making enough money, you should have asked for more money on the contract, but I don't think that, like, it's probably not and I'm speaking out of my ass a little bit, but the production committee is not really required to pay the studio more than is outlined in the contract. So they don't own the rights to any of this shit. So like, like when you pay $100 billion for the rights to Star Wars, like you paid $100 billion, like you own all the profit generating avenues.
But they don't, because George Lucas owns part of that IP. It's a difference in how, like, so you can't do a one-to-one comparison of Hollywood and Japanese media, because in Hollywood, part of the negotiations is control of the IP by either the companies that are making the product, or by individuals, including actors, sometimes get like downstream like reimbursement rights. That's not something that exists in Japan, and that is something that I'm going to touch on later as to where things are moving in the future, because things are actually starting to move in that direction because this system is starting to fail.
Okay, and all right, and I mean maybe you're going to touch on some of this later, but like it's all in equilibrium, right? For people that are like listening, economics term equilibrium, like I was taking a pee last night, and I was thinking to myself, this is what I'm going to say tomorrow on the podcast. And I said, so the anime studios, they all shut down because they're not making any money. Now there's no one making any anime anymore, which creates a huge demand for anime because people want to watch new anime, but there isn't any coming out. Which prompts the production committees to return to the old studios, the owners, and say, hey, we're going to bring you back. We're going to pay you 4 times as much money as before. All of a sudden, they come back, they get paid 4 times as much more, but the price of anime rises dramatically because the demand is so high that people will pay way more for it than they used to, and plus the production costs are way higher because now you're paying 4 times as much, which makes the price higher, which then causes people to watch less anime because they can't afford it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I feel like we're in that cycle somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, there's this sort of boom bust cycle to it, because even like the first anime boom happened with like, the 80s, 90s OVAs coming over, which I mean wasn't as big obviously, but it still kind of hit that same sort of pattern. But yeah, the history of, and the other thing too with that is it's kind of thinking in that logic is also the assumption that production committees has always been the way that it's been done and is the best way to do it, right? And that's also not the truth because there weren't always production committees. Initially, it was sponsorship models, and this was what Tezuka did with his initial business model, where essentially he would find people to sponsor his products, right? So he would get like an animation studio, a TV station, a merchandising company, an advertising agency, and they would sponsor the work. So it would be more of that collaborative, okay, we pay and invest some money, but you're still keeping some of your rights because we're sponsoring you. We're not buying the rights and then going out and contracting you. And there were problems with this. 100% there were problems with this. It affected like a lot of creative control. So there was a few famous stories from back in like the 70s where series just got completely cut short because they were sorry, 1 second. I'm getting interrupted.
That's okay. The whole situation, and you may touch on this later, but like the confusing thing to me is that normally when you have such a growth in revenue in an industry like 27%, it leads to a lot of increased profit because for every dollar that you earn in sales, you're getting, we'll say, 20 cents in profit. So if you're getting an extra $100 in sales all of a sudden, then you're making 20% of that in profits, and now you have $20 extra of profit. So for the anime industry, which grew at 27%, let's say it's an extra $1 billion. Well, 20% of $1 billion would be $200 million, so they should be getting $200 million extra dollars in profit to use to grow the studios, pay people better, ramp up, replace their computers, do whatever they have to do to like make things better and grow and expand. So normally that's because anime is clearly in a boom right now, but I just feel like it's very abnormal that anime is these big studios that we know by name, even they're not making any money. I'm just blown away by that. Like they didn't they didn't estimate their production costs correctly, like during the contract process. Like they didn't say, hey, the production costs are going to increase by 40%, so we need 40% more money, because there's no way the production committees want the anime studios to go under because they need the fucking studios. So it's like, I'm just shocked that like the profit can rise so much and the profit or the sales can go up by so much, profit doesn't. Someone's fucking up badly. Like these studios, it makes me feel like the studios are run like shit and the production committees are probably greedy little fucks, and they're just like, well, we're going to pay you the literal dollar to what you wanted and nothing more, no bonuses, no surprise. But the studios, they don't even know how much their shit costs. They're like, oh, we have no idea. We're just gonna say it's this. But now we lost money because we have no way to forecast our costs, and they don't know, so they don't know what to ask for. I don't know. I have no idea what's happening. It seems like a fucked up industry, though. I'm hoping you have an answer somewhere in this thesis, but.
Yeah, so anyway, back to kind of what I was saying about the history of it. So the reason, that sponsorship model was riskier, right, for everyone pretty much across the board. The losses were shared, and it was just, a little more haphazard. So that's when production committees started. First production committees were actually for movies. So Akira and Nausicaa were like two of the first products that had any production committee.
Good movies.
Akira, because they needed a bigger budget, right? So you need to bring in more people to fund it, and then Nausicaa was actually to mitigate potential losses. So, Miyazaki, beginning of, sort of, while he was a known entity at that point, still not what we know him as today, of course. And then a property that didn't have much connected to it, so they were, trying to mitigate those losses. And then eventually, kind of the OVA boom took off. The direct to video sales meant there wasn't as much reliance on TV stations or toy companies anymore. So that's why, they kind of got cut out of this whole process, and book publishers like Kadokawa became much bigger as part of like the notable sponsors and part of these production committees. That's sort of the history behind it. The first TV show wasn't until Irresponsible Captain Tyler in '93, and the real big boom for production committees being something that we know today was not until 1995 with Project Ava, with the Evangelion series and how successful that was. So production committees have only been around for about half the lifetime, I guess, or even less so, of anime. So saying that is the way it always has been, or the way it always should be, or the best way, I would argue, is wrong. It's just the way that we do it currently.
Well, it's clearly not working.
Yeah, and like I said, we kind of see it's failing. I would argue a lot of the problems we have with anime, like a lot of complaints that most people have about anime in general, is tied to this cycle, right? So kind of like you said, production committee hires a studio, they pay them X amount of money to make it. This generates a lot of, it takes something that's an art, right? Anime is an art as well as a business, and it makes it more formulaic and more business-like, because that's what is safe, right? That's what generates profits as well as, or generates consistent profits is safe investments. And the funny thing is that you start to see on the production side of things, there was that UN report that came out that showed that they called the anime production industry like human rights abuse. Just from the amount of like severe overwork, the low baseline pay, the hours, it's a third of the industry works without any protection from any labor laws.
Well, wait a second. I got to interject, because people say this shit all the time, and most of the time I don't agree. So, okay. Well, think about it. Like you're an animator working in a studio. You're treated like absolute dog shit. You're being paid dog shit. You get no benefits. You have no health care. Fucking quit. Just fucking quit. Everybody can quit. This is what happens. Everybody can quit. You'll have no anime anymore. And then they'll say, wow, there's this giant canyon left in like the market of like everybody wants anime, but all the animators quit. Well, if we want the animators to not quit, we need to pay them what they wanted. And then they go, oh, you know what? We're going to hire you back. We're going to pay you 4 times as much, and you get healthcare. All of a sudden, you have anime again. But like, people aren't forced. They're not like chained to a desk. Like, you're not forced to make anime. Just fucking quit. Like, oh, you don't have human rights? Quit. But they're still working there, so they're gonna keep getting abused because they're filling the seats. It's supply and demand. You are easy demand. You're easy supply. Like, I don't know. People should just quit.
Yeah, poverty is expensive, would be my argument to that.
What does that mean?
Yeah. What it means is that when you have money, you have the ability to stop working and find new jobs. When you are poor, if you do that, you could die.
So people can't look for new jobs while they're working?
If they're working under these kinds of grueling hours where they physically don't have the time and basically all they're doing is working to put food in their bellies so they don't die, yeah, they kind of don't have time to look for new jobs. Funny enough, this is something, not a woe is me moment, to be very clear, but this is actually something that is coming down the pipeline for my line of business, for doctors. Physician pay is the only thing that gets cut every single year over year. Everything else goes up. Medicare cuts physician pay rates every single year. I do joint replacements. That's my field. My specific field is getting a 20% pay cut in 2027. Just because. There's no reason. That. They just want to pay less. And every time this comes up, there's always a cacophony of doctors who just say, well, just don't take Medicare. Just don't take Medicare. Problem is, all the other insurance companies do the same thing. They cut their prices as well. And also, depending on where you live and practice, that might not be a reality. If I just say, fuck it, I'm not taking Medicare anymore, that goes 60% of my patient base. How am I supposed to keep the lights on? Well, just move. Well, I have a family here. My kids go to school here. Like it's very easy to say, just fuck it and leave. But that's not a reasonable answer. And it also has to be a reasonable answer to enough people to actually make a change, right? So yes, if the whole industry as a whole unionizes, for example, for like the animators, and gets together and does these things, then yes, that works. But in the current setup, it's kind of a vicious cycle that they can't escape.
I heard some crazy shit that like, I think it was a hospital in North Carolina. Maybe you know about this, but I
thought it was Tennessee. If it's the one you're talking about with the spinal.
No,
patients, I think.
No, it was like some hospital was literally trying out a system where they were asking nurses to bid on their like hourly rate for like shifts, and they would be like, but they could only bid down. So they was like, bidding starts at $20 an hour, and then they're like, okay, well I'll do it for 18. It's like the nurses are literally outbidding each other to try to see who will work for the least amount of money. Yeah, I was like, that's some diabolical shit right there. Like,
it's a race. It's a race to the bottom, and that's kind of the same problem that's happening with here too. Because it's like, okay, you're working for $1 an hour to crank out an anime, but then someone else is like, well, I'll do it for 95 cents, and it's the same problem.
Well, I think sorry, go ahead.
Well, and that's why it's like so odd to me that they talk about rising production costs, because some of that's because of basically the government stepping in and saying, yeah, we can't just let people get abused by these companies. I gotta find it in my notes here because I have too many fucking notes. There was a new law that was passed that kind of decreased the amount of work hours that the studios were allowed to demand. Here we go. So I found it. Back in 2017, 30% of animators worked 260 plus hours a month, and that's dropped to 10% in 2022 because of some of the new legal changes, for example. This though does cost more money, right? This is part of that increasing production cost that comes with it. The other thing to keep in mind, right, is, well, how do production committees return on their investment? And this goes into why I think we see a lot of the problems that we have. So studios make money per show, not per quality of show. So part of the reason we have too many shows per season is because that's the only way they can make money, is just by cranking out as many shows. And honestly, sometimes the more dog shit the show is, the less they have to put into it, the better, because they're just making more money.
Because they make more money, yeah.
Right.
But that's crazy. Sorry, not to stop you, but like that means that they benefit from giving us slop.
Yes, 100%.
That ain't good.
It's not good. Too much CGI or too much outsourcing. Guess what? It's an attempt to reduce production costs. Too many samey shows, too much of the same kind of thing, just spit out ad nauseum. Safer investment. They're predictable. We know that people are gonna watch it.
Oh boy.
Less original content. Again, it's safer just to say, hey, manga A, B, C, and D are known and they're popular and people are excited for them. Fuck it. Just, put into those. And you don't even have to put that much money. Look at Sakamoto Days, very popular manga that people truly adored, that had a lot of excitement behind it and is still one of the highest watched anime on Netflix, and it looks like dog dookie. Just straight up dog dookie.
Like dog dookie. And I've seen some pretty good looking dog dookie.
Well, and then even look at the sequels. A lot of people complain about the drop-off in quality as sequel seasons progress. Well, guess what? Studios get the same pay regardless of the quality of that second season, and you're already in. You've shown this is the base of who's interested. They don't have to put as much money into it.
We're going deep down a rabbit hole right now, but you would think there'd be some different... I don't want to lose my train of thought here. Different KPIs for how to pay these studios, because... Let's think about it. Okay, so they put out season 1 of One Punch Man. It's amazing. Everyone loves it. Studio goes, well, we lost money because we put everything we had into this, and then you didn't pay us anymore anyway because it's all by the episode, so we got fucked. So they go to do season 2, and they're like, we're gonna sandbag the fuck out of season 2. It's gonna look like shit. It's gonna suck ass. We know that. But hey, we're gonna make a profit because we only put half the money into it. The production committee goes, hey, what the fuck? Nobody wants to watch this shit because it's ass. So our sales are down like, I don't know, half, because nobody wants to watch season 2. production committee gets pounded because they don't have a proper incentive structure in place for the studio. So you would think they'd be like, oh, well, like find a way, like they should. This is why I'm talking about the contract again, and I'm talking out of my ass because it's not like I'm in the room where they're negotiating. But they ought to have levers in place where it's like, if the profit of One Punch Man hits X, studio gets a 5% kickback on that amount of profit. If it goes above Y, you get an 8% kickback. Like it has escalators in place, and the better the show does, the more money the studio will get as a percentage of that unexpected increased profit. Suddenly, the studio is making money, and they're being incentivized to put their best foot forward. What the fuck,
It's
though?
a bonus structure. No,
But
it's
why
a
is?
bonus structure.
But if like I'm only a senior manager at a corporation, what the fuck do I know? I'm like a fucking peon, right? But it's like even I know this shit, and it's like it's easy, like common fucking sense. Like maybe this shit happens though, and I'm just an idiot that doesn't know anything. But
Well, no, it doesn't happen. That's kind of the problem, or at least doesn't happen to a degree that's enough to make a noticeable difference. And funny you bring up One Punch Man. Part of that is One Punch Man was a little bit of a surprise. Like we talk about how come certain anime get sequels so fast and some of them take 10 fucking years. And
Yeah,
part of it's
exactly.
because we don't, the studio, the production committees and don't know what's going to be a hit. Like a production timeline is usually around 5 years, right? From conception to this is going to be an anime to anime being on your television screen, right? So if someone wants to make a sequel, right, to a quick follow-up, they have to predict that it's going to be successful and hope that it's going to be successful. And that's part of why One Punch Man took so long to come around, because they didn't expect it to be a success. And Madhouse was already off doing other stuff because of their 5-year ahead commitments, which is why it pivoted to JC Staff, because they had the ability to start it sooner, essentially.
So the studios don't know how to forecast their expenses, so they don't know what to ask for, and the production committees don't know how to fucking read
Predict.
the room, so
Yep.
they can't say, hey, this anime called like Jujutsu Kaisen, like the manga is pretty fucking popular. Maybe we should,
And if you look at
prioritize
Jujutsu
it.
Kaisen, right? Well, but if you look at Jujutsu Kaisen, right, it was season 1, a decent delay till season 2, and then season 3 was right after, and then season 4 is coming out right after, because now they know it's a hit. They've kind of caught up on it. But like hits that are out of nowhere, that's why those take like really long delays to get to those sequels.
It just sounds like there's nobody competent. They don't even know that, like,
There are a few people who are competent. I want you to guess, what do you think are the most profitable anime studios, if you had to guess?
Studio Ghibli,
Studio Ghibli is one of them. A little bit lower.
because they own all the IP.
Because they own all the IP, even though they do use a lot of production committees, but they were around from like kind of the beginning of this, so they had more weight to swing around, right?
Toei.
Who is who does everything in-house, owns all their own IP, and it does production committees for other people.
Bandai Namco.
Not a studio, but they're a
What
production committee.
they make shit.
Their name gets attached to it as producers. They're not really.
Okay.
They have Sunrise technically. So yeah, Sunrise Gundam. They own that IP.
Sunrise. Yeah. Have I named the number one yet?
Number 1 is Toei.
Toei. Okay. Yeah, because
It was
Dragon
either
Ball,
Toei-
One Piece. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you look at some of the smaller studios that also make profits, because there are 2 other ones. That's Psy Games, right? Because Psy
Yeah.
Games
Because
owns all
horses.
their own IP. Well, but they own it. They own the rights to Uma Musume. And if you look at their most recent catalog, right, you have stuff like The Summer Hikaru Died, Apocalypse Hotel. You have World is Dancing. Some of these like weirder niche shows, but they're able to put money into that and not have to worry so much, because they're the only ones making the profit off of it anyway. And the last one I have, which is the most interesting one, is MAPPA. And the reason is because MAPPA has decided to start funding themselves. And this is going towards the future that I was alluding to. There was a news article back in January about how MAPPA has made a strategic partnership with Netflix. They are skipping the production committees, going overseas, and they are looking at other ways to basically control their IP. They own
for
the
them.
Chainsaw Man IP. They actually, so they made money off of Reze. They made a butt ton of money.
That movie is so good.
So they were invested into making that movie as good as possible because they owned the rights to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's where things are going to start slowly heading, where you see some of these bigger studios, the ones that have some cachet, your Mappas, your Madhouses, maybe even your IGs or your even Wit Studio or Cloverworks is going to start heading down this pathway and cutting out production committees, and are going to start looking overseas at things like like Netflix or or Warner Brothers or whatever, like in the US, which will shift a lot about how anime is not only produced but also what's created, because they're going to start looking again. 58% of all profit is overseas. Now you're going to start taking some of the money from overseas. Things are going to start changing in anime.
If there's a shift away from production committees, you're probably going to see So yeah, of course they're going to go to like Netflix, Crunchyroll, stuff like that, but and other streaming platforms too. But they're also going to be more adaptations of non-anime properties. Like you're probably going to get a lot more video games. Like they'll say, hey, From Software, whoever the fuck owns that, I'm sure it's like Sega or something. From Software, we want to make an Elden Ring anime. So some company goes to From Software, they say, hey, you pay us $25 million, we'll make you an Elden Ring anime, and then boom, they do it.
Yeah, I mean, we're already seeing it. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is coming out with a second season in the fall, and had the season 1 a while ago. You have the Ghost of Sekiro, right? I think has an anime coming out, and then you have a lot more of these like anime lights, like you have Western produced animation that looks and feels like anime because of this crossbreeding. You have Blue Eye Samurai, Arcane, Avatar, these shows that are starting to kind of blend and merge not just ideas but also talent too. And as the production sourcing shifts overseas, that blending is going to start changing, and then the whole what counts as anime conversation is going to get really fucking weird really fucking fast.
What I'm hearing is production committees are antiquated, and they are. I still just can't.
What you're hearing is that production committees are the devil.
The devil.
The devil.
I just.
How strong do you think the production committee devil would be in Chainsaw Man?
It would cause some fucking havoc. Yeah. And I wonder what its power would be. Just like splashing poverty everywhere.
Just like drain, it would just like suck out, like
it sucks all your money out.
Yeah.
I even though a lot of the things you said make sense, and I think it's an interesting conversation that has legs, but particularly like with studios going to Netflix and whatever and doing their own thing, I just can't help but feel like it's still not the production committee's fault. Like if the studios are going to sign the contract and go along with it, then like.
Oh, it's the system entirely. It's not like the production committees in and of themselves are a singular evil entity. It's this is the system. This is just kind of how it works. And the production committees are evil is more of just a catchy title than the true thesis.
It's not going to take long for other studios to catch on to this. Like they're going to see Mappa make an ass fuck ton of money making something for Netflix, and then somebody who like is a high up at Silverlink is going to have dinner with someone at Mappa, and they're going to be talking about it, and they're going to be like, what the fuck? Like, why aren't we doing this? And then they're going to do it. And then everybody's going to do it. It'll take probably 10 years after the first few big hits, and everybody will do it.
There are 811 studios currently that exist in Japan. About 100 of them play like any role at all in production committees currently. So like 1/8 has like some role. Most of those are very small. The ones we talked about, like Toei and and like Sunrise and with Bandai and all that, those are obviously going to be the vast minority. So what I think will happen is if things shift that way, the number of studios is going to also dramatically get undercut, or you're going to shift more to like a tiered structure where you have like a handful of bigger studios that are now almost serving as their own production committees and hiring out to these smaller studios to be like the grunt force, so to speak.
Well, all right. What else you got?
That wasn't enough.
I just want to make sure we get everything because you put all these notes on here. It's so impressive.
Yeah, I think I got to pretty much. I mean, the only other thing was kind of like I mentioned how we've already seen this play out with video games a little bit because the Japanese video game market used to be a lot bigger, and it has dramatically shrunk because a lot of it was they didn't have the ability to adapt and change, and then you saw Western, products like Xbox being a major draw away from like the Japanese side of things. So it took away not only just resources like money and cash flow, but it also took away resources. People who are engaging with and producing and making these titles, and so we've seen it once before, and it's also just going to play out again now with anime.
Well, maybe we should follow up on this later, see what kinds of things transpire. But I'm sure it'll come to us when it's ready. So, all right.
Yeah, economics.
Economics, it's good shit. I mean, people are bored by these topics, I think, largely, but like they shouldn't be. I mean, this is what really matters. Like these conversations are driving the anime you watch. This is this is like the guts and underlying functioning of like something that you spend so much time consuming. So it is pretty relevant. You want to read the intro trivia question?
Sure. The pentacle of proving is made up of 5 different tests, hence the name. Which 2 tests do we see during the first season of Hat Atelier? Come in after the break to find out.
Anime Addicts Mitsugi is back yet again, bringing you even more of your anime news break. Starting off with some new TV anime announcements. In 2027, Pony Canyon has announced that a new anime, Maiden Blood, will be coming out. It's an original TV anime featuring some very attractive girls in the promo art. Maybe demons, maybe demon hunters, not sure, but lots of blood tones in the art. Starring voice actresses Iori Saeki and Yukari Anzai of Neko Para and Muri Janakata. So if you are a fan of those actresses, look out for this. From director Seiji Kishi of Angel Beats, done by Polygon Pictures, which is generally a CG studio that has done pretty good work in the past, including Knights of Sidonia and Ajin. So if you're a fan of that studio, TV anime, look out for Maiden Blood coming out. They don't have an exact date, but we'll have to see when that happens. Next up, the very first execution under the new government of Japan has occurred. Takami Tsunao was executed on August 21st, 2026 for the 2009 arson attack at an Osaka pachinko parlor that killed 5 people. So this was, he poured gasoline on the floor in the parlor and set it on fire, which killed 5 people, including some staff, and injured 10 more. So executions are very rare in Japan. They normally only have 1 or so a year, but this was the very first execution under the new prime minister, Takaichi Sanae. So it looks like there may be more of these in the future, but Japan literally has their highest amount of executions since 2020 was in 2018 and in 2008 when they executed a total of 15 people. So not really a whole lot, probably compared to the United States, but definitely a worthwhile crime to be killing so many people to be executed in that fashion, I would say. Next up, Fate Strange Fake new season has been announced. So for those of you that were fans of the Fate Strange Fake Season 1, which I was very confused watching, A1 Pictures has produced an anime special subtitled Whispers of the Dawn, which aired in July of 2023, and then there were more seasons of this in, of course, the winter of 2026, so you'll be able to catch up if you want to watch that before the second season comes out. But they have announced at Anime NYC that there is a new season in production, and there's a trailer available online for you to watch. And next up, in some pretty weird news, the Tenga Company, which produces sex products, is releasing a collaboration with Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. The new sexual wellness products, as they call them, include the new Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt special collaboration Tenga Cup. And new panty and stocking with garter belt. Special collaboration, Tenga tissue case. For those of you that are using tissues, absolutely hilarious. So if you're a degenerate and you want to look up panty and stockings Tenga products, well, you'll be able to find them online. It's a weird world that we live in. That's all I can say. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now, time to get back to the podcast. Hey, Anime Addicts. Well, I bring this message to you every week, but the podcast does need your support. We do our best to keep this show running every week to get you entertained throughout your busy work week. But hey, things are expensive and we need support. So if you want to help out the podcast, do a good thing, get all of our bonus content, you can go to AAAPodcast.com/join or Patreon.com. It does help us out a lot. We do have quite a lot of expenses to keep this thing running, mostly IT-related expenses. But we do appreciate everything you can do for us. If you can't afford to offer any money to the podcast, you could at least tell a friend about the show. But if you do support the show, you're going to be getting our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, and our after parties, where we do keep you updated on what's going on in hentai. We do get a little raunchy sometimes, and we do talk about what our hobbies are in our personal lives, which usually results in a lot of movie and video game talk. So if you're interested in all that, AAAPodcast.com/join or Patreon will get it to you. Help out the podcast, and we'll continue carrying you as well.
Hey, Steve Bloom here, voice of Spike Spiegel, Vincent Valentine, Leron from Gurren Lagann, Guillerman from Digimon, and a bunch of other crap. And I am a total anime addict, dude. Tune in, or else.
I gotta watch this Pancake. Are we gonna watch this on the drinking episode?
I think I've never seen it, so I actually can't.
Really? That's funny.
Well, there's no physical media for me to find it anymore. God damn it.
That's true. That's so sad. All right, what was that trivia question? Let's see here. We got it. The pentacle of proving is made up of 5. You know what? I can't right now. Dangerous, most dangerous. Okay. Made up of 5 different tests, hence the name. Which 2 tests do we see during the first season of which Hat Atelier? Atelier! The consent of the... This is so... These names are so funny. I feel like I have to have like some tea and a feather hat to say this. The consent of the crown, yes, grants the right to choose your master, and the sincerity of the shield allows you to legally cast spells in public. Don't you know? Just kind of how all the people in this anime talk.
I'm waiting for an Australian to come in for one season.
La 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 la. All right, yeah, I think Geist would be fun. Maybe
that's a wise choice.
Maybe Pancake will watch it, and I can bring in a pitcher of mimosas or something.
It'll be the most dangerous choice.
It would be the only way to properly drink during breakfast time. Would be to have a pitcher of mimosas. So, I think it's time for mailbags.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag. Bitch, if you want to submit a mailbag, AAAPodcast.com/mailbag. You can ask me anything. Anything. That's right. I'm really not wearing pants. I feel like I really want to show people my pants.
Good jump. Just like
Put the camera down. See, look at this. See, I'm not wearing pants. Good old boxers, boxer briefs. I guess they're boxers. I don't know. They're Tommy John. We go fancy for our ball sack area. Let me get my camera fixed. For the show, cakes and wakes. Nice. I like some cake by the ocean. For the shonen lovers, that would be you, Raggedy, and myself too, really. I've recently been watching Toriko and have been loving it, but it's been making me wonder why this show didn't catch on in the West. Funimation dubbed 50 episodes and then canceled it. That's a lot. Is it because the studio is so-so, or that isn't this Toei, or that it is centered?
The animation is so-so, yeah.
Or well, yeah, Toei doesn't make generally shit animation, or that it is centered around food, or that it was competing against some other serious shonen titles like One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Fairy Tail, Bleach, Attack on Titan, Blue Exorcist. I think the world building is some of the best in all anime. Wow, that's pretty
Bold.
pretty bold statement, and would love to know more opinions. Raggedy, have you watched Toriko?
I haven't, but I do know about it. From what I understand, the adaptation was a bit censored, which Toei had somewhat Toei, and then also the ports over here had a habit of doing. If you remember the finger guns from Yu-Gi-Oh! Or the hammer gun or Sanji's lollipop from the 4Kids dub of One Piece, right? So there's some of that kind of ate away at
What is the
appeal.
What is the finger gun supposed to be?
In Yu-Gi-Oh, instead of guns, they were just like, they'd stand there with their fingers pointed out like finger guns, and that was supposed to be threatening because they would just edit out the guns.
They take the guns out completely?
Yeah, there's edits
What?
where the guns are just gone.
Why the fuck would they have guns in Yu-Gi-Oh? They fight with cards.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. That's just
Are Yu-Gi-Oh cards valuable?
not as much as Pokemon cards.
I've been like blown away by how much money these like Magic the Gathering cards are worth. Like this one right here, the Sliver Queen that I've got, $300. I was like, what? I remember buying this card like when I was 15, and it was like $7. Fucking nuts. Anyway,
Some other things to keep in mind. The show came out in 2011. It looks like it came from the 80s or 90s, so fairly outdated in its styling. You mentioned the 50 episode dub. That's an incomplete, dubbing. So anyone who wanted to watch it dubbed, like now, like oh, let me go and check out this show. It's like, oh, well, they never finished it. Why would I bother? So I think that's really the main reasons. At the time, it was competing with Naruto and One Piece for the same airspace and attention span. A lot of filler, that kind of stuff. The food concept, I don't think really was a big deal. You have stuff like Food Wars or even like fighting foodons. I remember like people didn't care that it was a weird topic. So that's why.
Is that all you got?
It's again, you want more? I could keep going.
I didn't watch Toriko, but I remember I was living in Japan when it came out. I remember literally where I was when I heard about it as a thing, and I was standing in my friend's kitchen in their like house that like 3 people died in, and so yeah, you probably heard that story. I went back there to that house not long ago. Last time I was in Japan because I'm just nostalgic as fuck about everything, and no one's living there, and it's because it's cursed. Like they're so superstitious they can't even rent that house. Only the foreigners that don't give a fuck were willing to live in that house. But it's literally like it looks like a set from like a Fatal Frame video game or something you'd see in Silent Hill. But yeah, I just remember thinking I'm living in Japan and this anime looks lame as fuck. That's kind of what I thought. And I was like, oh, he hunts for food. And then I was thinking about all the episodes of anime I've seen where like someone has to climb down like a cliff face to find a flower, or something like that. And I always thought those episodes just sucked. Like generally, I'm like, why would I want to watch a whole anime about like that's some dude going to find like rare food ingredients? It just didn't seem good, and I don't. Did this come out before or after Food? Was it before? It had to be after Food Wars. Yeah,
similar time frame.
Before, right? Before Food Wars.
Yeah, but they probably ran around there was crossover, I'm sure, at some point.
Have you seen Flame of Recca?
I know of Flame of Recca, and it's not dubbed, so I never bothered. It's supposed to be pretty good, though.
Yeah, I keep thinking I'm gonna watch Flame of Recca, and then I keep forgetting to watch it. But I keep thinking like, oh, there's got to be like really cool shows from the '90s that I just haven't seen yet, and I want to go back and find them. But
You watch Hitman Reborn? That's another one that's supposed to be.
Hitman Reborn, Jesus, like the literal video game Hitman.
No.
Okay, I was
But like,
say
but like Hitmen, yes, but not the game.
all right. Anyway, I thought it goes fine. I mean, I'm sure it has its audience, I'm sure, but it's not me.
Yeah, but there's a reason why it's not like ever really talked about when you're talking about like these other shows, Hunter x Hunter, Bleach, Attack on Titan, etc., so on and so forth.
I mean, Cakes and Wakes, it just makes you even more powerful. You're like, oh, look at all you normies that are watching, Demon Slayer. Like, why don't you get with the times? I always make fun of people in my office when they're like, I'm like, what's your favorite anime? And they're always like, oh, have you heard of, what do they always fucking say? It's always like, well, of course, Demon Slayer, but then it's like, oh, it's just always this like basic shit that like everybody else is watching. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, haven't you ever watched a Golden Boy?
No, because there's no physical media left.
You can watch Golden Boy on YouTube.
Yeah, for now.
Oh, come on. All right. Well, Witch Hat Atelier. And the two people that picked this, Andrew and Otaku Cop, not here. What the fuck?
Cowards.
What the fuck is up with that? You want to take this?
Sure. So yeah, this was spring of 2026. It was passed by Andrew and Otaku on 8/28. You can watch it on Crunchyroll. And the synopsis is, in a world where only witches can cast magic, they must avoid being seen by ordinary people while casting. While Coco does her chores, she daydreams of becoming a witch. When a young witch named Keyfree visits her village, Coco uncovers the absolute secret, becomes Keyfree's apprentice, and begins her studies to become a witch. Burn the witch!
Does it float?
This was done by Studio Bug Films. It's based on a manga. Mitsugi, what were your thoughts going in?
Well, let's see. So I didn't know much about this, but I tend to have a general. I don't know what to call it, but I have a problem when I'm watching things, and if people have just sucked it off way too much by the time I get to it, I tend to like go into it with like a sarcastic, negative attitude. So, like, there are certain animes that just, like, rub me the wrong way. Like, if I have to hear about Freyren 300 times before I watch it, by the time I get to it, I'm just ready to fucking shit all over it, pretty much. And Witch Hat Atelier, not quite as bad as like, a Freyren or some of these other shows, but, like, definitely got sucked off pretty good, for lack of a better word. I mean, Caroline's not here, so she can't wince and, like, be sad about it, but... And so you know... So I didn't know much about it. I mean, Pancake. Well, I knew Pancake liked it because we tried to watch this in bed one night and like I fell asleep with him. As soon as I'm vertical or horizontal, I guess it is. As soon as I was horizontal, I was out. And she watched like 2 episodes of it. And then she's like, "Oh, you're so fucking old. Like, why can't you just stay awake? Now I got to rewatch it." I'm like, "No, I'll watch it in the gym or something." So it is dubbed, sort of. So I didn't know jack shit about this anime. It's sort of. We'll get to that. I didn't watch this. Or I didn't know much about it. I just knew it was like very popular. And I can confirm it is the 3rd highest rated anime of spring 2026, behind only... Can you name them?
Let's see. Nippon Sengoku came out, and that was pretty highly rated.
Is that one of your guesses?
That I gotta think what came out. That's always the problem. I forget what the fuck comes out in what season. Sure. I thought of that one also.
I'll help you, okay? So in that season, ReZero Season 4 came out.
ReZero. That's number 1.
Nippon Sangoku came out. Okay. Dr. Stone, Nakamura-kun, this Cody, the Ramparts of Ice. Anyway,
definitely ReZero's number 1. Number 2.
Yeah, it was.
Is that a Dr. Stone or Nippon? I'm gonna say Dr. Stone.
It's Nippon Sangoku, and I've seen both of these. I've seen most of that, and Witch Hat Atelier, in my opinion, probably better than Nippon Sangoku. It's definitely more fun to watch, but damn, I gotta watch this ReZero. 9.13.
You're gonna hate it.
Is it full of the fucking eyebrows?
The fourth season, I think you would like. The problem is you'd have to get through the third season to understand what's happening, and the third season is nothing but like cackling over the top villain types.
Oh, I just can't handle the Witch of the Wastes or whatever the fuck her name is. Her eyebrows are so terrible.
Oh yeah, she's not a problem.
Anyway, so yeah, I didn't know much about this show. I just knew it was very popular. Pancake liked it. I knew it had little girls in it. It's anime. Come on, why is there always little girls? So weird.
No. So for me, those filthy goddamn readers were all over this one, hyping this. They hyped this up like crazy. Maybe you didn't see it as much, but it depends on like what circles you tread in. This was very hyped and had been like a known thing for years that people were hyping up. It's known for its artwork, but like still frames don't necessarily translate to anime like Sakamoto Days, like I talked about earlier. It was also done by Bug Films, who really dropped the ball on Zom 100 production-wise as the series went on. So, I was very mixed coming into this. The only thing that gave me hope was that I knew the whole season was done before they started airing, so we weren't going to get a Zom 100 mishap, so that helped. Mixed going in.
Zom 100.
Would you recommend?
I'm looking at this picture. I don't know. You can look at this picture if you want to on my anime list, and it just creeps me out. It's got like both the main. Well, look at the picture. It's on the feed.
Picture of what series?
Witch Hat? Yeah, Witch Hat. I've got it on the screen.
Oh yeah.
It's this picture of like Coco as like a little girl walking around in like her village or whatever, and then it's got I fucking hate the names in this anime. Kiefer and whatever the fuck the black-haired guy's name is, staring down at her like they're hungry. Just like, what is going on with this photo? I had some predictions about this anime that I'll say later, but would I recommend it? Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I thought that Bug Films killed it. I was like, what studio is this? Like, this looks so good. I was like, this is crazy. I mean, not only does it move well, the backgrounds actually move a lot of the time, which is so novel these days. But the detail on some of the shots of like inside the atelier and some of like the rooms full, like there's the silver washed eyeball dude, like they're in like his apothecary or whatever, and he's got like bottles of shit everywhere, and it was so Ghibli-esque in that room. I was like, Jesus, I was like, Pancake, look at this room. Like there's 100 fucking bottles on these shelves. Like this studio literally like put as much detail as they humanly could possibly do into this one room. And I was like, who is this? And I looked it up and I'm like, Bug Films, the fuck is that? And then I saw that they had only done Zom 100, and I was like, well, and Pancake was like, well, that anime at least looked pretty good, I thought. And I was like, I don't know. I mean, Zom 100 to me was just a massive disappointment because there's nothing worse than dangling a zombie anime and then having it be a slapstick comedy, like Suck My Balls. But I thought this anime looked amazing. Like, fucking amazing. Probably most of a pretty healthy chunk of the score that this anime's got online is just because people would just, like, salivate at looking at pretty shit. Like, they don't even care if it makes sense. That being said, I thought the narrative... I mean, do you agree? Do you think this anime looked fucking gangbusters?
Oh, it looked great.
I mean, I think it's one of the better looking animes I've seen in a while.
Yeah, it looks really well. It moves really well. The like you said, the attention to detail is great. They even there's a little small mascot, like the little mascot character, the Brush Buddy, the little animal guy.
What is his name? Brush Buddy?
Brush Buddy, yeah. The animators apparently like just threw in extra scenes just so they could have him like flipping around in like the background and stuff. It's well done, and my fears were assuaged very quickly.
Confirmed. Witch Hat Atelier, not profitable.
Yeah, no. Oh no, this lost tons of money.
Tons of money. In fact, they nearly went bankrupt making it. I thought now. Our review system is fine, but I like talking more before the spoilers. So let's just go through this. So I thought the narrative was pretty slow, actually. I thought the pacing wasn't slow, but the narrative kind of lacked content. I also think that there were episodes that were really amazing and episodes that just weren't that good. So, for example, I thought episode 1 was a 5 out of 5. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, where did this shit come from? It had everything. And then I thought episodes like 2 through 4 were utterly boring. I was like, oh, we regressed to a moe girl school. And I was like, oh, here we go. And then I thought there were some definite unnecessary like filler episodes. There was even one near the end where they're just like honing in on like the individual like girl characters, and like their stories just don't seem to add much to the overall plot, which I'm sure I had some predictions. We'll get to it, but I don't know how you felt. Do you think the pacing with the narrative was kind of slow?
It was, for a 13 episode season, was very slow. If this was a 26 episode season, I think it would have been fine. This is kind of like the Don problem where they're calling a core a season, and it doesn't have that nice like seasonal trajectory that a season of a show should have, which is one of my big critiques of the show. Is just kind of, I don't want to say it's like, oh, it's how they sold it was the problem, but it's paced incorrectly for how short it is.
I watched the entire show yesterday. I didn't think it was
It's an easy watch. It's a very easy watch.
Yeah, it's smooth. I didn't have like a super hard time getting through it. I did break it up, and like I watched part of it in like the morning and part of it at night, but that usually means it's a good show if I can get through it like that, because otherwise I'm just so fucking bored that my attention span drifts and I'm like doing everything else I possibly can, but this wasn't the case with this one. I also don't jive well with little girl characters in anime. I'm not a little girl. I've never been a little girl. And I don't have a great interest in little girls. And so I thought
that last one's a pretty good thing in today's day and age to be clear about.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I just don't like the little girl screaming and like Coco being really fucking anime. Like, I don't want to, like, oh, the anime listeners are like, oh, why even watch anime then? But it's like when she's like screaming and flapping her arms and acting like a fucking dipshit. Like, I'm like, God, it's so annoying. Like, it's just. And then like the little fucking pink-haired girl was so annoying. And what is with her accent? Like, I get it. Look, I get it. Okay. It's supposed to be like period piece, ethnic, something like that. But like she's like got this deep Scottish accent, and like nothing against Scottish people, but like I can't fucking understand her. If you don't have subtitles on, you're fucking toast. Like you're just not gonna get half the shit she says. I know you like the dub, but I don't.
Oh well, I was also just gonna clarify. I can go into the dubs because they all have very specific accents they're going for. So Coco is kind of like a generic American, she is the easiest to understand for us probably. Which I like. This is the part I'm very happy that there are accents in general. Could they have done better with maybe some of the clarity of them? Yes, but I do like they went with accents. There's a lot of cool environmental storytelling you can get from accents. Coco is the only American sounding character. It sets her apart from everybody else as an outsider without having to say that. It just does that in your brain. Kifri, very posh British, very much what we expect of like high fantasy. And Agathe, who is the star pupil,
can't stand her.
Also posh British, so the quote makes sense that she would be like. It kind of puts that in your head that they're in the same box. Then you have Tetsuya, who's the pink-haired girl. She's actually Dutch, is her accent. And then Riche is like
Dutch,
kind of German. So again, European, sets her apart from our main character, but also sets them apart as not quite the same tier as Kifri or Agathe. So I do like that they did that with the accents. I also like how the main brimmed cat, Ingween, I think is the name, her/his voice is extremely hard to place, and that's on purpose because the character's gender is unknown. So they got a female voice actor to do a masculine voice and then do a bunch of weird, unnatural accents to it, so you can't. It makes it this weird foreign, again, setting it now as a third entity apart from. So they did some cool environmental storytelling stuff with the accents that I appreciated.
I mean, I guess it's extra effort, so credit to that, but I just.
Way easier the second time around because I watched this twice. The first time around, I had a lot of trouble with especially Tetsuya and Riche. Second time around, it's like, oh, okay, I can actually, now that I've gone through this once before, I know what they're saying.
I will, yeah, okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, yeah, I was just frustrated with that. Pancake didn't like it either, and I don't know. I feel like Yeah, I don't know. It's too much to have 2 English dubs, but like, some people
I
don't
think they
want.
just should have had clearer voice actors doing the same thing. So like Kiefer, Agat, Orugio, and Ingui are easy to understand what they're saying, and you can tell the difference in their accents. But then once you start getting deeper into the cast, it gets more muffled. So they probably just needed better voice actors.
Well, and I don't think it helps that they're little girls, so they're talking in like little girl speak, and some of them are kind of soft, and then sometimes they're screaming, and then it's I don't know. I don't want to get too much on the dub, but I thought the character designs are amazing. The world building, it's so high end. This is like a filet mignon of world building.
Boyko got nothing on this.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I mean, I was just like. Now, I have a lot of comments about the magic system, but I thought the world building in this was just phenomenal. I mean, they really put a lot of effort into it. The way the magic works, they've got like, illnesses that these people get. They've got their own towns, they've got their own culture, they've got their own laws of the natural world. They have, I don't know.
It all builds off each other and ties together. You can understand how this system led to these different kinds of problems. There's a few things that are a little ham-fisted, right? Where, I'll save it for the spoiler part, but they get a little ham-fisted with, it's like someone declaring out loud, how come you can't do this? When there's no reason for them to say that, because they've never lived in a world where that should be a problem. And only we, as knowing the secret, know why it's a problem. But I do think it's a good exploration of like what it means to wield a forbidden power. A lot of times forbidden powers in media is just like set dressing. It's like, oh, don't touch the secret ancient magic. It makes it sound cooler, but this is just actually exploring that as a topic, what it means to have that power and why these things are forbidden. And it ties well into its world.
So, in summary, and we can get into the spoilers here, I thought the anime was good. Would I recommend it? I mean, not nearly to everybody. I mean, I haven't recommended it yet. I might not recommend it. I did recommend Chainsmoker Cat to a bunch of people. That anime is fucking fire. But this anime it's good. It's just that, like, there's a lot of people. Some people just don't care about magic. They don't want to watch anime they don't want to watch stories of little girls. Like, I can't recommend this to an adult man. Like, they're just not going to watch it. Like, they're probably going to look at you like you're a pedophile or something. Because it's like, for example, an American 40-year-old man who doesn't watch anime doesn't take time out of his day to watch a TV show about little girls. It's just not normal culturally for us, and probably for any country. Anime is just a little different because so many of the stories are featured by children. But like in regular media, adults are not watching shows about little kids. It's just so like you got to realize that like unless you're talking to an anime fan and the right type of anime fan, you really can't recommend this because just like with a lot of anime, people aren't going to watch shows featuring 10-year-olds. Like they just don't give a fuck. So
yeah, I mean, I fully disagree. Harry Potter is one of the most popular media on planet Earth. Like we do. Watch plenty of movies and TV shows with small kids in it all the time.
But Harry Potter isn't animated.
It's not. But I don't know why that. I mean, it was
because animation in the West automatically has a connotation as being for children.
Yeah. No. I mean, I think typical is the word, not normal.
Like I can't go to my boss and be like, "Hey, this anime, which Hat Atelier?" Because he's gonna be like, "Why are you watching anime that are casted completely of like moe blobs?" And I'd be like, "I don't know, because that's how it is." Yeah. But I can recommend Gundam.
I don't think you could go like to any random person off the street and just be like, "You random person that I've never met before, watch this show," right? Like I agree because it's not typical, but if you know someone you're recommending anime usually to people who watch anime. I think you could recommend this to anyone who watches anime.
Would you recommend this? And what kind of extra notes do you have that you want to discuss?
Short answer, yes. Medium answer, if you watch anime, you've probably already seen this. Therefore, my recommendation is meaningless. Long answer, the stuff that you touched on already, I agree with pretty much other than the dub, I like the dub. But beyond that part of it, everything else, I pretty much agree with production-wise and all that. I do have some things I do not like. Some of the things visually from the manga do not translate well into anime, and it's very obvious. Having never opened a page of the manga, you could see the parts where you're like, oh, this is supposed to be this big impactful moment from the manga that everyone, like a big panel, and you're like, okay, it doesn't really translate the same way, and they focus on that a lot. I also do not like how we've ended the season, how it's not a full seasonal story, and being so early on, a lot of this is set up and building towards what will hopefully be an extremely good story in the end. But it's a lot of, it's kind of the same problem I had with Nippon Sengoku, which is there is a very high ceiling, but there is also a floor, or I should say a very high floor, but the ceiling unknown because we don't know where we're going yet.
You know what was funny? So Crunchyroll keeps raising their prices, right? I was downstairs in the living room watching this yesterday at like 2:30 or something, and I couldn't get the dubs to come. I couldn't get the subtitles to come up because even if I'm watching something in English, I want to have the subtitles on. I'm just one of those people. And Crunchyroll, you sucked balls. Like I couldn't get the fucking subtitles to come up. They wouldn't work. I have them on. I'm clicking the thing, and I'm like, you abandoned me. You abandoned me with the Dutch accent and the German accent and the British accent and all these accents all at once. And then you didn't even give me the subtitles. So that's my final comment about the dubs, and I'm still mad about it. And then when I came upstairs later that night, the dubs started working again, and I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, yeah, You say spoilers?
Yeah.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
Would you like to go off on the magic system first? Because I know you have your comments.
I just think the magic system is stupid. It's great world building, and it's not overdone. Like it would be so much less interesting if it was just like blah 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 blah, and they cast with their fucking wand like in every other show or whatever. But the magic system in this anime has some very significant flaws in it that kind of collapse on themselves during different types of scenarios. For example, there's like episode 5, Key 3. I got a prediction about. Don't let me forget to give my prediction about Kifui. These fucking names. Kifui, whatever the fuck you say.
British Gojo.
Yeah, he's definitely like Vash the Stampede, basically, like with white hair.
My thought on Kifui is that he's Gojo if Gojo was a good teacher. Because Gojo's a terrible teacher. Kifui is actually pretty good.
I'm glad you said that, because Pancake was like, how is he Gojo? I'm like, it looks exactly like him. Like, he's literally complete with the blue fucking eyes. Like, he looks exactly like Gojo.
Actually, the other way around. Kifui came out first. Gojo is.
Oh, okay. Gojo's a copy.
Kifui.
So, it's just that my whole problem is that the system of drawing these circles and then to have them cast magic is just not conducive in reality. Like, there were a couple scenes at the end where like they had 99.5% of the circle drawn, and then they just kind of finished the circle. But like, there's just too many scenarios where it doesn't work. Like, for example, Kifui is flying through the air like in episode 5 with his like magic shoes, and he's just like just randomly casting magic, doing this and this. I'm like, sorry, I didn't see you whip out your fucking book of like little paper scrolls or whatever. And then how could you possibly have? So the problems are, one, the system doesn't allow you to cast magic in fast succession. Like, you're just not going to be able to do it. If you were in a magic fight, it would be a ridiculously slow battle where people were just like dropping to their knees and flipping through like a card book to try to find the fucking piece of paper they need, or getting down on the ground and drawing a circle. It would be the dumbest combat you've ever seen in your life. And like, we talk about how Rudius from Jobless Reincarnation is so OP because he doesn't even have to cast. He doesn't even have to chant magic incantations to cast shit. He just can do it, right? Well, imagine a combat taking place where not only do they have to chant incantations, but actually no, they literally have to drop down to their knees and draw a fucking picture. These mages would lose to musket firing riflemen from the Revolutionary War because it would take them longer to draw a circle and cast it than it would for a rifleman to reload a musket. It's just, and then like, yeah. and that, sorry, I'm ranting. And that comes to pass because Keefwee nearly dies at the end because he's like, oh, I can't cast underwater. Yeah, no shit, because you're drawing your fucking spells on paper. Oh, I wish I didn't have to do paper.
Well, I mean, that's actually why I like it, because it makes the combat more interesting than just point staff, explodey thing shoots out of staff. They have to be clever and creative in how they apply their magic. And it's also why, like, the brimmed caps, the villains, ultimately, of the show are so OP, because they have done all sorts of crazy shit to their own bodies to give them these, like, you know, advantages. This is going to be more like how stand battles play out in JoJo's, where its traps are set and you have to be clever. Which as long as the author is creative enough, will make it very interesting. If the author is not creative, it's going to suck balls.
I don't hate this. I don't hate that they're doing like. I think it makes so much sense for a lot of things, and they find clever ways to get this magic seals like introduced, like, oh, the kettle of water that has a heating scroll, what do you call it, a glyph? Like, I don't know, it's like a glyph that heats the water, a sigil that heats the water. You know, you step on the floor and the sigil's underneath the floor. Like, all that makes so much sense. I merely think that in the case of casting spells in battle, you'd be better off with a book of with opening up like a plastic thing. Like you've seen, like Warhammer guys, like they come and they have those like cases with like figures in them, right? Well, what if you had like a briefcase full of stamps, and the stamps, the whole bottom of the briefcase was an ink like surface, right? Like a giant ink book, like a giant stamp book, and there's like 50 stamps. The little sigils are marked on the back of the stamp, and rather than like fucking drawing from memory, like the most archaic shit on earth, and then like doing it on paper, pull your fucking stamp out, stamp the paper, boom, done. It'd be so much easier, but that hasn't even occurred to do. Like I wonder,
we're dealing mostly with apprentices, right? So they're being taught how to draw and do their spells. They're between the first and second test, all of them. I wonder if that's what will happen as we start to see more advanced witches, if they do that kind of stuff.
Well, we'll see. I just think it would make a lot of sense to do that. So
yeah, and they might. I think the thing that makes the less sense is the whole this is all a secret, no one could possibly know, but we're going to sell these magical devices to people and they're going to see the magic symbols. And now maybe they won't be able to put like, yes, you need the special magic ink and then anyone can do this. But I feel like eventually they'd kind of be able to put at least enough of this together where they could. I almost feel like they're doing too much to magicify the rest of the world and share it when they're trying to keep everything a secret from everybody.
Speaking of which, I thought the best episodes in this season were the ones with the carriage that crashed into the river. Like, it kind of didn't add a whole lot other than introducing
the Knights
Morales, and, you know, the little girls get to, like, stand on their own 2 feet a little bit. But to me, the first episode and those episodes were my favorites. I thought they were very engaging.
Yeah, that did have my one problem I was alluding to, when the dad, who's like desperate, like, why can't you heal him? Can't you just heal him? Like, just use your magic and heal him, which we know as the audience, like, well, this is a grave sin, and gets into the exploration of like, well, why can't we just, help people magically, right? But like, he's always lived in a world where no one's ever been able to magic a human body. Like, this should never have even occurred to him as something to desperately yell out, other than just, it's some of the ham-fisted nature of the narrative where it's like, don't forget that this is the problem. These are the themes of the show. That was my issue with that episode. I liked episode 5 a lot. I thought that was one of the better animated episodes, with them taking down the dragon. Both the girls and Kiefer, their whole scenes for that. played very well. It also ends with us starting to see that Kiefer maybe not Mr. Nice Guy so much. That's our first real hint of it.
All right, here I just say it right now. My prediction is Kiefer is not only is he a bad guy, I think he's grooming Coco. I think he's doing everything he has to do to keep her safe and alive because I think she's the key to everything, and he's definitely fucking bad.
I have a different prediction.
Okay, let's hear it.
My thought on Kiefer is that he is a good guy, but I think he had some bad entanglement with the brimmed caps at some point, and he is looking for revenge. And the only reason he cares about Coco is because Coco is his one link to getting that revenge.
It may be like a gray area where he's doing bad things, but like there's good intentions, or he's like in a tough spot. But I definitely think he's definitely pulling some bad shit.
He's not Mr. Sunshine and Rainbows like he pretends to be. And even though, like I said, I think he's a good teacher. I like the episode when they're talking about the cooking and how he has that line about if you're desperate to learn something, build it into your daily routine. And he talks about how, you specialize in straight lines. And Coco's like, oh yeah, so I'm gonna just do all straight lines. And he's like, no, you got to start practicing everything else because that's the stuff you're bad at, and that's how you find what other things you're good at. So I think the teaching aspect of this was very well done, like more so than any other. Like Jujutsu Kaisen, the training that Yuji goes through is he watches a bunch of like movies that are. And they just like hand wave like, yeah, that's how he trained. He watched some movies and now his curse energy is great. You're like it's not, or even like Dragon Ball Z, they just punch and kick. It's not creative. It's not interesting. This is a lot more interesting way of showing advancement, and it's tied into what they chose the magic system to be.
I mean, Piccolo did kind of try to feed Gohan to a dinosaur. I mean, that did happen.
That was very interesting, but like eventually it degrades. I think that this is one of the better for like a master apprentice type of show about bringing someone in and teaching them like stuff. Harry Potter, like any of those kind of things. This is one of the better ones I've seen of actually making that an interesting part of the story.
And by the way, an atelier is like a workshop.
Yes.
Yep, indeed.
What did you think about the brimmed caps?
I think they're holding them most. What's that?
Let's say the baddies, the bad guys.
I think they're mostly holding them like in suspense at this point, which I like that they're doing that because they don't appear all that much, but yeah, they're very for this world, which is a very like cartoony, innocent looking. They're very grotesque and mysterious, and I think that makes them very appropriate and good villains for the show.
Yeah, like the one guy at the end who's basically just a living hat. He like doesn't have a body at all, just an eyeball. But I also think they just look cooler than the regular witches, like way cooler than the stupid like dunce hats that the regular witches have to wear.
On the side note, I thought the 13th episode of this anime was not very good. I watched it this morning and I was like, they just literally drop it like right in the middle. I'm like, wow. Great. I was like, that's the end? Yeah. Like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. No, they don't...
Yeah, I hate that.
I mean, it's okay to have a cliffhanger, but, like, they didn't even try to tie it up. They were just like, you know what? This is it, the end. Snip. It'd be like if I took this podcast and just ended it right here in mid-sentence.
That would be very meta, just to cut it right there in public.
Maybe I fucking will. But it's like... You know what I mean, though?
It's
like
a common problem, though, nowadays. Back to our production complaints in general, right? Like that's a very common thing that they're doing now because a lot of series are based on manga. Manga come out weekly or monthly and a continuing ongoing story that don't necessarily have clean breakpoints for a arching season. So they've been just saying, fuck it. We get 13 episodes and we cut it off. They did it here. They did it in Dandadan. They've done it they're doing it in One Piece now that they've switched to more seasonal. The ones that don't do it are light novels because light novels are books and are arced more in that similar fashion as a TV show.
But I mean, when is season 2 coming out? Because I think it's fine. There's not even a date yet. Nope. I think it's fine if you're going to. Here's a trailer for season 2. Does this have
If you
anything
take like
useful?
if you take like one core off, like if this was spring and it was coming out in fall, like okay, sure, whatever.
Does this trailer have anything about the
I think
date?
that trailer's just like it's coming. We promise it's coming.
Because I mean, like, it's fine if you're gonna if season 2 of this comes out. Come on. If season 2 of this were to come out in like the winter, I'd be like, fine. It's only a few months. I can live with that. But like a lot of times, like it's not. It's going to be a year or more, and no one's going to remember, and then they're not going to even do a recap. It's just going to start right up. It just makes me mad.
And it's going to stop up again at that freeze frame of Keyfree, which probably way more impactful as a manga panel and less so because they do that a lot in the show. They do it when he does the big when he kills the dragon. They do it at the end of the season. They do it when that one guy turns into that monster. They do it when Kiefer's making like the room humid, when Coco's sick. They have like these like pause freeze frame moments. I'm like, it just feels cheesy when they do that, and I don't like it.
I'm trying to think if I have anything else I want to really mention.
What did you think about the sort of like, I don't know if racism is the right word, but the whole like witches being like completely stuck up assholes about anything that's different, anything that's not like a tradition, like you are a witch and we do it this way, because the kid with the silver wash, or even Riche who likes to do things her own way, or outsiders, they're very like, unaccommodating.
Well, I have some thoughts about that. I mean, these witches, they're not even that special. Like you don't have. So we were looking this up, and Pancake was like, "What's the difference between a witch and a wizard?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know." So first I told her what I thought, and I was wrong. So a wizard is somebody who learns magic by studying, and a witch is someone who learns magic through the use of nature, like potions and stuff like that. And then a warlock is someone who like makes a pact with like a higher being. So these people don't even they're not even wizards. Like they're not witches or wizards. They have no power whatsoever of their own. They're just drawing these circles, which are part of the natural world, which I guess, if anything, that makes them more of a witch than a wizard. But they're still awfully stuck up and very like gatekeeping for something that's really not even their own ability. Like they're just drawing a circle.
I mean, there is the logic that they get into of like when magic was for everyone, shit went south pretty fast, right? Because one of the cool things with this magic system is obviously it doesn't work, right? But like you can intuit a spell. So if you like go online and like Google search it, people have come up with like, this is the spell for making a vacuum cleaner. Like you could like theory craft those things. And if you look it up, the first one you'll find is the vacuum cleaner or like the toaster oven. And then the second one is how to make a black hole and how to make a nuclear bomb. So that there is logic to why, not everyone should have access to this. But then you get into like, well, why can't we heal people? Why can't we undo like that guy's transformation to that dog thing at the end? You can't fix him. That's it. Like, because you're not allowed to do magic on people, he will never be fixed. It's forbidden.
I don't know. I still feel like they're trying. Like, who is to say who gets to know about magic and who doesn't? And
that is also true. Who gave these people the authority to do this?
And it's obviously not working out completely anyway, because you still have the brimmed hats or whatever that are causing problems. But if you don't want people to summon a black hole or some shit, then limit the people that know magic down to like a handful, and then slowly like erase their memories, and then until you're at one person, then just erase their memory too, and then you have nothing left. But like, the real world and real life is full of dangerous stuff. Like people can buy weapons, they can buy guns, even in foreign countries. Like, shit, Prime Minister Abe was killed with a literal gun that was made out of like PVC. Like, people can make a pipe bomb. You can make drugs. You can make anything you fucking want, and no law is gonna stop you from getting drugs or building a gun or a bomb or whatever. But people still do it anyway. But then there's a lot of like really valuable things in the natural world in this anime, like, oh, like you might want to have a way to improve your life. Like, oh, a vacuum cleaner sounds great. Like, oh, I'm going to clean my house. I'm going to have ways to heat water. Maybe I'll be able to have more sustainably feed my family. Like, there's all sorts of things. I don't know. It's complicated and maybe a more interesting conversation than the anime in general, to be honest. But
it provokes interesting questions and interesting conversations and doesn't necessarily give us the answers.
It's like, just because you're going to let this kid die because you don't want the people around you to know what magic is, because then you'd have to erase their memories. Well, how about just don't erase their memories, and maybe the people that are there either won't give a fuck or they just won't make a black hole. Or how about we just...
Slippery slope. It's a slip, but that's the conversation. That is what this whole thing is about, right? Well, I was saying that is the point of the story, right? Is to have that conversation.
Well, but this anime doesn't have the internet. I mean, do they even have electricity? Like, I can't remember. I doubt it. I don't know. But It's like I don't think they do. So, just eliminate the information about dangerous shit. Like, yeah, I mean, let's not advertise how to make a black hole like everywhere. Let's just. I mean,
well,
I think
also comes into play at the end though, because like the one guy, the one brim cap was talking about how he wasn't trying to turn that guy into a dog creature. He was trying to do something else, and he goes, "Well, knowledge on forbidden spells is kind of limited, so I'm just fucking winging it, and this is what happened."
Well, if the brim caps want to cause problems and want to be crazy, then why don't they just give all these spells to the public?
Yeah, it's.
We don't know enough, probably, but
there's not a good answer, I don't think, and I think that's going to be the main thing, because it starts very idealistic, and Coco is a little too sunshine and bubblegum rainbows for a lot of this, and I think very quickly hopefully very quickly, she's going to be confronted with what the fuck do we do when I'm confronted with real world adult problems, and it's not magic just fixes everything, because it can't.
Speaking of Coco, I strongly dislike green hair in anime. I think it looks horrible, almost every time. So just throw that out there.
My bigger complaint was Riche. I think Riche is the worst out of all of them.
Is that the blue-haired girl?
Blue-haired girl with her super tiny short bangs, the hardest voice to understand.
Yeah, she's terrible. And
God, her character is. I don't want to do what I don't want to do. It's very, very childish.
They're all terrible. Like, Coco is the best, but even she's annoying. And then you have a god who's just, I get she's like scarred, but her personality is terrible. And then you have the pink-haired girl, which is kind of like the sleepy. I mean, what does she do? Summon pillows half the show? Like, I don't fucking know what she even does. And then the blue-haired girl was obviously bad.
Yeah, I do not like her.
Oh, and the main guy, the other guy character, I'm gonna pull him up.
Orugio.
This guy cracked me the fuck, and then let's score it. Old Rugio, because we can't have a normal name. This guy,
he's great.
Yeah, he's fine, but like, he looks like you know how in an anime or a TV show, you'll have a character that looks like he's like a pretty boy character. Like, take this guy's face and take his facial hair off, and he would look like the Sword Art Online character or something like that, right? And then you have like the evil.
Apparently they do that later on in the series. There's like I saw some picture where he does shave and he looks like a pretty boy. It's very funny.
Exactly. So he looks like the evil twin version of another character that looks just like him, because he has like this shitty little half-ass pencil mustache like beard. He looks
like evil Spock, yeah.
And then no one's supposed to be able to recognize him because he put a mustache on. Like, that's what he looks like to me. So I thought that was pretty funny. But he was fine. We're pretty much out of time. I mean, like I can score the show. You have anything else you want to say about it?
No, I think we've done plenty.
I hated it less than I thought. I managed to not be, too biased about how much, fellatio this anime got before I watched it. And I would say that the girl characters were a little annoying, and there were some episodes that probably this anime could have been 8 episodes, to be honest with you, or maybe 9. But all in all, I still think it's really good. I'm looking forward to season 2. There's a lot of unanswered questions, which is fine. And hopefully we'll get them in the next season, and we don't have to wait till like season 4 or something. So I'm going to give this anime 4 pointed hats laying on the ground out of 5. I think it's good.
I also thought this was a really good show. It was interesting. The magic system was interesting. The questions it poses are interesting. It looks really good. The production is great. The music is also really good. I did enjoy the the insert songs. Most of my complaints are gripes. The issues with the freeze panels, and there's not enough meat on the bone just yet as far as the characters, but there's a lot of good stuff being set up. I'm gonna basically give this the same score I gave Nippon Sengoku, and I'm gonna give it for the same reasons, which is that there is a really good trajectory that hopefully it maintains it, but I can't score it based on the trajectory. I'm gonna score it based on what it's given me, but what it gave me is pretty good. So I'm gonna give it 4 extra scenes of the Brush Buddy just so we could watch his cute little face.
He's cute. He is so cute. He's like a little, you just want to wrap him around your neck and go to sleep on an airplane.
He's so fuzzy.
All I think about is airplanes now because that's where I live. This fucking sucks. Except I have so many miles now. I just get booze and food for free on United. It's not bad. It's like, just make me drunk, please, on this flight. All right. Well, that's our show for today. So next week, what are we doing next week? I don't even know.
You are safe. They're watching Freyr in season 2. You've been saved.
Oh wow, I've been saved. I love that. Yeah, I would not survive. Is that 26 episodes also?
10.
10? What a cop out. I watched the whole fucking 26 of the first season. Then they only had to do 10?
Did they spend 28? The first season was 28 episodes.
Yeah. Do they spend half of the 10 episodes looking for flowers and tiny forest animals? Did you watch it?
I did. I thought season 2 was pretty good. I think it's going to be a good review. Season 1,
it's fine.
Better than season 2, but season 2 is still good.
I'm just a hater. Honestly, I'm just a hater. So I did find one other person that doesn't like Freyren. So, shout out to my friends, Katie and Patrick down in Florida. The wife, Katie, did not like Freyren. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. Anyway, I was like the only other person on Earth.
There's dozens of us. Dozens.
You were one of those people too?
No, I'm making a
okay. There's tens of us, not even dozens. So, all right. So thanks for listening to the podcast today, guys. Next week, Freyren season 2. So look forward to that. Of course, that is the wrong drop. You can follow us on all the social medias. Our website, AAAPodcast.com. We'll tell you what we've got coming up on the next 4 episodes. I got to update the website this week. Don't forget, the listener choice poll is on the website, and it's also on Discord. Discord.AAADiscord.com. Vote for the listener choice. I'm going to put it up again this week, probably tomorrow, and then you can join the Anime Club if you want to, every other Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's about it. We're going to do an after party here. I'm going to talk some video games. I'm going to talk some Alien Isolation. I think Raggedy's got an anime quiz or something. We'll see what's happening with that because he can't resist. Anything you want to say?
Check out Shonen Showdown. We still are putting them out monthly. We got some good ones coming up. So, yeah.
Don't fucking miss it. All right, guys. Peace.
Bye.